श्रीशैलेशदयापात्रं धीभक्त्यादिगुणार्णवं यतीन्द्रप्रवणं वन्दे रम्यजामातरं मुनिं लक्ष्मीनाथसमारम्भां नाथयामुनमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां यो नित्यमच्युतपदाम्बुजयुग्मरुक्म व्यामोहतस्तदितराणि तृणाय मेने अस्मद्गुरोर्भगवतोऽस्य दयैकसिन्धोः रामानुजस्य चरणौ शरणं प्रपद्ये माता पिता युवतयस्तनया विभूतिः सर्वं यदेव नियमेन मदन्वयानाम् आद्यस्य नः कुलपतेर्वकुलाभिरामं श्रीमत्तदङ्घ्रियुगलं प्रणमामि मूर्ध्ना भूतं सरश्च महदाह्वय भट्टनाथ श्रीभक्तिसारकुलशेखर योगिवाहान् भक्ताङ्घ्रिरेणुपरकालयतीन्द्रमिश्रान् श्रीमत्पराङ्कुशमुनिं प्रणतोऽस्मि नित्यम् சத்யாதிபயங்கரமோட அண்ணாவோட இது தனியன் வேதாந்த தேசிக கடாட்ச விவருத்த போதம் காந்தோபயந்திரயமினः கருணைக பாத்திரம் வத்சான் வவாயம் அனவத்ய குணைருபேதம் பக்தியா பஜாமி பரவாதி பயங்கரார்யம். Hari Om Raghu. Okay, Shri Vidya, Hari Om will chant 10th, I think the 11th one.
Hari Om Sudhu.
Hari Om Raghu. योषा गणेन वरदध्नि विमथ्यमाने
योषा गणेन वरदध्नि विमथ्यमाने योषा गणेन विरदध्नि विमथ्यमाने
वरदध्नि घोषालयेषु दधिमन्थन तीव्र घोषाः
घोषालयेषु दधिमन्थन तीव्र घोषाः घोषालयेषु दधिमन्थन तीव्र घोषाः
रोषात् कलिं विदधते ककुभश्च कुम्भाः
रोषात् कलिं विदधते ककुभश्च कुम्भाः रोषात् कलिं विदधते ककुभश्च कुम्भाः
विदधते
विदधते
विदधते ककुभश्च कुम्भाः शेषाद्रिशेखर विभो तव सुप्रभातम्
शेषाद्रिशेखर विभो तव सुप्रभातम् शेषाद्रिशेखर विभो तव सुप्रभातम् योषा गणेन वरदध्नि विमथ्यमाने घोषालयेषु दधिमन्थन तीव्र घोषाः रोषात् कलिं विदधते ककुभश्च कुम्भाः शेषाद्रिशेखर विभो तव सुप्रभातम् योषा गणेन वरदध्नि विमथ्यमाने घोषालयेषु दधिमन्थन तीव्र घोषाः रोषात् कलिं विदधते ककुभश्च कुम्भाः.
श्रीविद्या जी அங்க விதததேன்னு வருது. Your pronunciation, your stress is on the.
विदधते.
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 the is soft.
रोषात् कलिं विदधते ककुभश्च.
ரொம்ப கேர்ஃபுல்லா கரெக்ட்டா தப்பா சொல்றேன்.
रोषात् विदधते. रोषात् कलिं विदधते.
Vidadhate. See, look at the what you do. Same.
Vidadhate.
Correct.
சொல்லும்போது வருது, சேர்த்து சொல்லும்போது
அங்கதான் ப்ராப்ளம். விதததே.
ஷாத் கலிம் விதததே.
So as long as you realize what it is, you figure it out. But so it's vidadhate.
रोषात् कलिं विदधते.
So those who know Sanskrit, vidadhate is te essentially is Atmanepadi words cholva. So those words, it is to create or generate. So vidadhate, vidadhati, அப்படிங்கிறது you can say as vidadhate. So the te is it's a certain formation of the verb to generate.
रोषात् कलिं विदधते.
Kakubhascha
कुभश्च
kumbhaः
कुम्भाः निशादृशेखर विभो तव सुप्रभातम्.
Super, ma. Thank you. Raghu?
योषा गणेन वरदग्निविमध्यमाने घोषालयेषु दधिमन्तनतीव्रघोषाः रोषात् कलिं विदधते ककुभश्च कुम्भाः शेषाद्रिशेखरविभो तव सुप्रभातम्.
Very good. So this is
Yo.
how we also learn from others' mistakes.
No, I dadate, vidadate.
Correct, Raghu. What you did was right.
योषा गणेन वरदग्निविमध्यमाने घोषालयेषु दधिमन्तनतीव्रघोषाः रोषात् कलिं विधदते ककुभश्च कुम्भाः शेषाद्रिशेखरविभो तव सुप्रभातम्.
Very nice. Sundar Mama, ஒரு தடவை நீங்க சொல்லிடுங்க, then we'll go to the meaning.
योषा गणेन वरदग्निमध्यमाने घोषालयेषु दधिमन्थनतीव्रघोषाः रोषात् कलिं विदधते ककुभश्च कुम्भाः शेषाद्रिशेखरविभो तव सुप्रभातम्.
Very nice, Mama. Mama did it very carefully. Okay. Yosha Ganena Varadadhni Vimathyamane. So now, if you remember from last week, the various sounds were generated in the atmosphere to wake up Venkateswara. So first was the sound of the bees, the birds. So first was the fragrance from the trees. Narikela Pugadrumadi Sumanohara Palikanam Avati Mandamanilassaha Divyagandhaihi. So Divyagandha was coming through the air of the tree, the fragrance of the trees and the leaves and the flowers. The air was carrying the fragrance. And then you had then Narada was also playing the veena or his tambura. So what was that? Tantri Prakarsha Madhura Swanaya Vipanchya. Vipanchi is a certain form of a veena. So with the Vipanchi, with the Vipanchi, he was playing who? Narada. Gayati Ananta Charitam Tava Naradopi. So Narada is singing your endless praises. Naradopi. Bhasha Samagram Asakrit Karachara Ramyam. So he's not just singing it in one language, he's singing it in many languages. In many ways possible, he is exploring and expounding your glories. In fact, idu munnadiyum paathom. Trivikra Charitam. So this Trivikramadi Charitam also in another shloka that we saw. So where all the Dasavatarams or the various Leelas of Bhagavan, he's singing. He's singing and chanting and narrating and doing all that. Sheshadri Shekhara Vibho Tava Suprabhatam. So Narada is also doing this. So the trees and the leaves and the flowers are giving out their fragrance. Narada is singing. And then we also had the Unmilya Netra Yugam Uttama Panjarastaha. So the parrots are also singing. The parrots are singing, they're excited, they've had their fill and they're singing, trying to wake you up. And then Bringavali cha makaranda rasana vidya. So bees are also singing, they're humming. Their humming sounds or the buzzing sound is as though they're singing. Even in Shamala Dandakam yesterday, we saw how the bees make the humming sound. Bringangana Gita. So all of these music is there in the environment. For what? For waking him up. Which means we also said that it's also the sound that we need to wake up to. We need to wake up to such harmonious sounds or such beautiful sounds. The way you'll wake up is going to disturb pretty much a large part of your morning. Right? So you want to wake up to good sounds. Right? But if it's too pleasant also, then we were saying you'll go into snooze. So the chances of getting up is also difficult. But idea is you wake up to everything that's harmonious around you. Be it fragrance, be it sight, be it sound, be it touch. All your senses wake up to a very pleasant morning. In the process, you're waking up Venkateswara, you're also waking up to a pleasant morning. Now, Naradopi, the thing about Narada is he is going around singing the glories of Bhagavan. Right? And I had an interesting conversation a couple of days, maybe yesterday on Bhagavatam. Why do we keep saying the Bhagavatam or reciting the Bhagavatam repeatedly? What is the value of doing something like that? Because, one second, no. So the value of doing something like a Bhagavata Parayanam, Srimad Bhagavat Parayanam, what is the value of Enna Pandiyan? What do you gain by just repeating and reading the stories again and again? And again, sometimes, most of the times, the reading is in Sanskrit. It's not in English. You read it in Sanskrit and it doesn't make any sense to you most of the time, right? To most of us, because Sanskrit is not our spoken language. But this is the value. What is Narada doing here? He's repeatedly doing Sankirtanam. Sankirtanam of what? The glories of Bhagavan. Now, in the Bhagavatam, if you read, it's not just glories of Bhagavan. It is also, there are also many, many stories that have layers of meanings, which again, in Bhagavata Saptahas, when you go, they will explain the meanings and they will try to explain the other layers of meanings. But what do you get by chanting this? About 10 cantos, right? What do you get by just chanting this and repeating these stories again and again? Your mind is filled with those stories. Your mind is filled with those characters. Your mind is filled with those events. And these are characters, events, places, and situations that are created there, that have been written, that elevates your mind. Because you may find similar situations in your life. If you're thinking about Dhruva. Dhruva was 5 years old when he went to do penance. And in 6 months, he did penance 6 months and he got darshan of Bhagavad Darshanam. Right? Narayana appeared to him just in 6 months. So goes to show that if you have that kind of resolve, it's possible. So you remember these stories, you think about this, you chant these stories and you remember. So what happens in the process? Your mind is remaining in this. Sada Sarvada, when the mind is thinking about these things, otherwise the mind has the tendency to think about various other things. There is no stopping it, right? Anyways, it's going to keep thinking something. Mind is going to anyways keep thinking something. It will keep thinking something. Why not think? Make it think what you want to think. And this is why we feed all of this. And when does it happen? At the start of the day. In the morning when you start up. Right? The morning itself when we start, and also we said the sleeping and the waking up both are important processes. We wake up to a pleasant morning, a meditative morning, and we sleep off to a meditative night. And when this cycle repeats, your night is also taken care of and your day is also taken care of in terms of establishing the right things in your mind. And your mind is slightly elevated, naturally it will rise above the tendencies that are pulling you down. right? We have tendencies of anxiety, of fear, of depression, of dejection, of uh, um, um, what will happen next. There's anxiety, all of that. So that will keep pulling us down during the day. So when you rise up to an elevated mind in the morning, the chances that you are able to go through the day is much better in a less friction, and in a, the way they put it is in a frictionless way. You want to transport yourself through the day in the least amount of friction, because the more friction that you cause to your body and your mind, the more wounds you create, and the more wounds you create, the more bad impressions that we carry. So all of this is our doing. See, the important thing we notice is that there is no Bhagavan. Venkateswara is not sitting up there, okay, you wake me up and now I'm going to fix everything for you. No. These are processes that how we generate within ourselves. And so Narada is doing that. He's singing this throughout the day. He's just singing Narayana Nama. In fact, I was reading a lot of times Narada is considered to be the most mischievous and one of the most mischievous person to be around, right? In fact, most of the places, if somebody does something mischievous, Narada vela pandran அப்படின்னு சொல்லுவா, right? இங்க இருக்கிறது அங்க சொல்லி, அங்க இருக்கிறது இங்க சொல்லி. But if you look at the Puranas and the Shastras, Narada is an excellent teacher. He's a guru. He's a bhakta, and he is a great. Sorry, and he is a great proponent of the arts. So there is a Narada Bhakti Sutra, and there is the whole Tyagaraja received music from Narada, right? So, and then he is the greatest bhakta that we know of, and he is somebody who believes in spreading and teaching. So he's also a great guru. Valmiki, for Valmiki, Narada was a guru. For Tyagaraja, Narada was a guru. For so many different people, Narada was a guru. Those people we hold exalted men, for them Narada was a guru. So this Narada is all the time singing your glories, O Bhagavan. Wake up. Then we go to Yosha Ganena. So now the sounds are continuing. So we heard there are different sounds in form of the birds singing, the bees singing, the human beings, Narada singing. And then there is a sound of the churning of the curd. So this in the villages, this is a traditional practice, right? Those who know of this and have seen this, there'll be a big pot, and there'll be this, there's a stick, churning stick that will go into the center, and there is a rope that's tied on either side. And then there are ladies who pull from either sides, and they churn the milk to get butter. So this process creates a lot of sound. So he's saying, Yosha Ganena Varadadhni Vimathyamane. So in terms of the whole Yosha Ganena are young women, young girls. Yoshana are women or girls or maiden. They are Varadadhni. They are trying to extract dadhi. And in the how they are doing that, Vimathyamane, they are trying to do that by churning. Manthana. Manthana means to churn. Vimathyamane. And they are, what is happening because of that? It's creating a lot of noise. Ghoshalayeshu dadhi manthana tivra ghoshaha. So because of them churning this, Goshala is also the place where we know what is a Goshala, right? Goshala is where cows are kept, and also the cow herds, the one who tends to the cow, they live there. The Alaya, Go Alaya, Goshala. And there is the Dadi Manthana, the Dadi Manthana Tivra Ghoshaha. So they are doing this with great amount of passion. Why? Because they wanted to create curd and butter for serving God, serving Narayana. Now this also we saw, yes, in the last week, the three things that we saw, right? The birds, the bees, and the human being, by making sound and the music and all of that, what are they doing? They're offering. They're offering whatever they have in the morning. So in the morning, we said we open up the morning with a sense of gratitude. We open up the morning with a sense of gratitude. We offer whatever we have. Because only when you give can you receive. This sounds like a biblical statement, right? In Bible, Christ says this. Only when you can give can you receive, which means what you do every morning, you empty yourself. We empty ourselves in the morning. We get up, we thank in gratitude, and we empty ourselves. We say that all that I am is your grace. All that I am is your blessing. So may I be filled with that. So I empty myself. In the morning, I offer whatever I have, empty myself, and then grace, we let grace flow in so that we are able to take ourselves through the day. So in this process, the ladies, what they're doing, the young maiden, they are doing this very rapidly. They're Tivra Ghoshaha. They're creating a lot of sound. Why? Because they're doing with Tivra, with a lot of passion. They're churning the milk, Yoshagana, and Roshat Kalim Vidadhate Kakubhascha Kumbhaha. So this is almost as though there is the Kumbha are quarreling with each other and making this lofty sound. The Kumbhas or the pots are clashing and hitting each other, and they're making this loud sound. Sheshadri Shekhara Vibho Tava Suprabhatam. May you wake up to this sound, this clattering sound of the pots. Okay. So here again, he is extending, PB Anna is extending the idea of how there are various sounds in Bhagavan's environment, in that environment, that are beautiful sounds that you wake up to. You're praying to Lord, these sounds are being done because we are busy working for you. We are busy wanting to offer these things for you. We are busy creating these things so that we can offer to you. Please wake up. So there's a whole Mangala Karamana or environment is being created. An auspicious environment is getting created. Okay. Next one. Chandra Mama. Padme Shamitra Shatapatra.
Padme Shamitra Satapatra. Padme Shamitra Satapatra.
Gatali Vargaha.
Katali Vargaha. Katali Vargaha.
Hartum Shriyam Kubalayasya.
Hartum Shriyam Kubalayasya. Hartum Shriyam Kubalayasya.
Nijanga Lakshmyaha.
Nijanga Lakshmyaha. Nijanga Lakshmyaha.
Heri Ninadamiva Bibhrati Tivranadam.
Beri Ninadi. Beri
Ninadam Iva.
Beri Ninadamiva Bibrati Tivranadam. Beri Ninadamiva Bibrati Tivranadam.
Sheshadrishekhara Vibho Tava Suprabhatam.
Sheshadrishekara Vibho Tava Suprabhatam. Sheshadrishekara Vibho Tava Suprabhatam.
Okay, so I said Nijanga Lakshmyaha. I realized there are surprise faces. The Lakshmi. In Sanskritam, sometimes the Visarga drops depending on what the next word is. Okay. So here in as a Sanskrit word, it is Nijanga Lakshmyaha. It is Lakshmi's Anga. Lakshmi's Anga. But for the Chandas, we can just retain it as Nijanga Lakshmya. So we can retain it as Nijanga Lakshmi. Mama, 2 times Shalunga, please.
Padme Samitra Shatapatra Katali Vargaha. Artum Shriyam Kuvalayasya Nijanga Lakshmyam. Beri Ninadamiva Bibrati Tivranadam. Sheshadrishekara Vibho Tava Suprabhatam. पद्मेशमित्रशतपत्रकताडिवर्गाः हर्तुं श्रियं कुवलयस्य निजाङ्गलक्ष्म्यां बेरी निनादमिव बिभ्रति तीव्रनाथम् शेषाद्रिशेखर विभो तव सुप्रभातम्.
First class. Kalpaka, Hari Om. You're able to chant Kalpaka?
महोदय
Hmm.
पद्मेशमित्रशतपत्रगतालिवर्गाः हर्तुं श्रियं कुवलयस्य निजाङ्गलक्ष्म्याः भेरीनिनादमिव बिभ्रति तीव्रनादम् शेषाद्रिशेखर विभो तव सुप्रभातम्.
Two times.
पद्मेशमित्रशतपत्रगतालिवर्गाः हर्तुं श्रियं कुवलयस्य निजाङ्गलक्ष्म्याः भेरीनिनादमिव बिभ्रति तीव्रनादम् शेषाद्रिशेखर विभो तव सुप्रभातम्.
Very nice. Padmesha Mitra Shatapatra Gatali Vargaha. So now he's going back to the bees. Anna is going back to describing how the bees are now making the sound. Earlier, the bees were making sound as they were hovering around the flowers, etc. But now the bees are, so there are blue lilies in the vicinity there, in the Pushkarani. And these blue lilies, there are blue bees. Okay, so the blue is a color that's used in this particular verse. Blue bees inside the blue water lilies. The color of the blue bees almost surpass the color of Devi's hand, which is holding the blue water lilies, and it appears as though it's an extension of Devi's hands. Yeah. So the idea is there are these lilies inside which the bees have been there through the night. They're trying to churn out, get the honey, the nectar, and they have been fighting with each other to do that. And they're creating Bheri Ninada. Bheri Ninada means kettle drums. So there's as though there is a lot of sound of the kettle drums that are happening inside. Iva Bibhrati Tivra Nadam. See, again, Tivra comes here. So in the previous one, you had Tivra Ghoshaha. So there's a lot of passion in which they're creating the curd in the previous one. Here, the bees are creating nectar with a lot of passion. Tivra Nadam. They're creating a lot of sound. Why? Because they're creating nectar. For whom? For Bhagavan. So Padmesha Mitra. Padmesha Mitra is lotuses are known as the Mitra of the sun. They are known as it's also a way of saying, a poetic way of saying, lotuses are a friend of the sun. Because they have this affinity to the sun, right? The moment the sun rises and then they are in the direction of the sun. Probably the sunflower is so, but then lotuses also blossom with the sun blossoming. So they're known as the Mitra. Padmesha Mitra Shatapatra. They've got 100 petals. Shatapatra Gatali Vargaha. Gatali Vargaha means they are the Ali. Ali is also another word for bees. The Ali, they come in multitudes and they are inside these lotuses. Okay, these blue colored lotuses. And what are they doing? Hartum Shriyam Kuvalayasya Nijanga Lakshmyaha. So the color that they are generating, the color of these bees it's surpassing. So visualize it that Nijanga Lakshmiya. So Nija Anga Lakshmi. Lakshmi's own body part is what? Her hand. Anga. Anga is a body part or a limb. Nija Anga, which means her own limb. So in this case, he is referring to the hand of Devi or Lakshmi. She is holding this blue lotus. Just visualize this thing. She is holding the blue lotus and her hand, it's almost like an extension of Devi's hand. Nijanga Lakshmiyaha. And in this blue lotus, these bees are sitting and generating nectar, and they're doing it with so much of passion to generate the honey for to offer to Venkateswara. So Padmesha Shatapatra Gatali Vargaha, the Ali Vargaha, the bees, they're coming in thousands, in multitudes, and they are Kuvalaya means the blue colored lilies or blue colored lotuses. There, these are almost like Nijanga Lakshmiyaha, Lakshmi's body part. Although Lakshmi is holding the lily or the lotus, it appears as though it's a part of Devi, right? And from there they are generating the nectar. So just look at the beautiful visualization here he's got, right? He's got the meditation of Ambal there, and it also, look at it this way, the bees are deriving the nectar from the lotus or the lilies, but actually they are deriving it from mother herself. So the bees are deriving the nectar or madhu from mother, from Ambal, from Lakshmi, and this nectar they are now offering it to Perumal, to Venkateswara. See, he's making this reference, right? Nija Anga Lakshmiyaha. So Lakshmi's body part is almost like this lily. So they are coming and sucking the nectar out of the lily, which is almost like Devi's body part, which means they're sucking the nectar from Devi. Heri Ninada Bibhrati Tivranadam. So making a lot of noise. See, yesterday, you remember we discussed in Shamala Dandakam. Again, it was a long verse, Dandaka verse, right? Purlasad Valika Mauktika Shrenika. So in the cheek of Devi, you have the Kasturika Patra and Kasturika Patra Rekha Samudbhuta Bhrangangana Gita. So the bees are coming here. What kind of bees? Sambhranta Bhrangangana Gita. The bees have lost their way. Why? Because of the Saurabhya Samudbhuta. There is fragrance that has come out of the cheeks of Devi, and they've lost their ways. They're probably going somewhere else, but they've lost their way and they're getting drawn to the cheek of Devi. They're coming here and they're making this huge Sandri Bhavan. They're making this huge intense sound, which sounds like what? Mandri Tantra. Mandra Tantri Sware. Susware Bhasware. So there's this beautiful connection between bees and Devi and Ambal. And in fact, even in our in the way we represent, we say bees are important for life forms to exist, right? So they say what bees, if there are no bees, maybe in a couple of months' time, there'll be no vegetation. There'll be no, so because there's no cross-pollination, there'll be no vegetation, and because of that, life forms will start slowly depleting, and even human beings will start slowly vanishing away. So bees that way are considered to be extremely, oh, there is a bee movie. Okay. So bees are extremely important to show the process of creation in nature, the process of the cycle of creation in nature. And what is Devi is essentially that. Lakshmi is essentially the mother. She is the creatrix, the creative principle. So the bees and the association of bees to Devi is that association of the creative principle. Right? So in the morning, this principle of creation is happening. So on one side, the Yoshagana are creating the Dadi Manthana Tivra Ghoshaha. They're making a lot of noise by creating curd on one side. And this side, the bees are now trying to derive nectar from Devi herself. Because Devi is already woken up. In the second shloka itself, the PV Anna woke up Devi, right? So assume she is woken up. Now, Venkateswara is still not woken up. With every shloka, he is having to be woken up. Ambal is already woken up. ஒரு பாட்டு போறோம் அம்பாளை எழுப்புறதுக்கு. அதுக்கப்புறம் இவர் எழுப்பிண்டே இருக்காரு இன்னும். So now he is going, the bees are going and sucking at the mother's nectar, generating the madhu, honey, and bringing it to Bhagavan. So on one side the curd is coming, the other side the honey is coming for him, right? So this is how he's bringing. And see, these are things that are offered at the altar. So in Tirupati, Tirumala, and all, as part of the offering to Bhagavan, a lot of these things go, right? There is curd that's offered. There's milk, of course. Milk is offered. Curd is offered. Butter is offered. Honey is offered. All of these, then flowers and fruits and so on and so forth. But these are important ingredients, or these are important food offerings that are made to Narayana. So for us, Padmesha Mitra Shatapatra Gatali Vargaha. So what does it mean for us? It means that in the morning, again, when we wake up, blossom up like the lotuses. We wake up like the lotus, the way the lotus blossoms slowly. We'll never be able to, and this is something that there are these time-lapse videos, right, where they show how a flower blossoms very fast. But that's not how it naturally happens. The videos, the blossoming happens very gently. The blossoming happens very gently. The time-lapse videos show them to happen in a very rapid way, just for us to be able to experience that in a short period of time. But the actual blossoming of a flower over the night happens in a very gentle way. So that way, the waking up process should also be. The waking up process should be a gentle process. Again, we spoke about this. It should not be a jerky. It should not be an agitated process. The waking up process should be a gentle process. How? Padmesha Mitra Shatapatra. The way the 100 petals of a lotus are blossoming, they blossom, or we should wake up in that fashion. The waking up should be an aware and an active and a gentle process, right? And then what will you experience? You will experience nectar. When you get up in that way, we get up in a very gentle and a harmonious way within us, we experience nectar. Means what? Nectar means you feel joy. Nectar is usually referred to as joy. The joy that comes from within is referred to as nectar, right? So that happens. Then the next one, we'll chant the next one. Shriman Abhishta Kalpaka. Gayatri.
श्रीमन्नभीष्ट
Yeah, go ahead, Kalpaka, go ahead.
श्रीमन्नभीष्टवरदाखिललोकबन्धो श्रीमन्नभीष्टवरदाखिललोकबन्धो श्री श्रीनिवास जगदेकदयैकसिन्धो श्री श्रीनिवास जगदेकदयैकसिन्धो श्रीदेवतागृह भुजान्तर दिव्यमूर्ते श्रीदेवतागृह भुजान्तर दिव्यमूर्ते श्रीवेङ्कटाचलपते तव सुप्रभातम् श्रीवेङ्कटाचलपते तव सुप्रभातम् श्रीमन्नभीष्टवरदाखिललोकबन्धो श्री श्रीनिवास जगदेकदयैकसिन्धो श्रीदेवतागृह भुजान्तर दिव्यमूर्ते श्रीवेङ्कटाचलपते तव सुप्रभातम् श्रीमन्नभीष्टवरदाखिललोकबन्धो श्री श्रीनिवास जगदेकदयैकसिन्धो श्रीदेवतागृह भुजान्तर दिव्यमूर्ते श्रीवेङ्कटाचलपते तव सुप्रभातम्.
Very nice. Gayatri.
श्रीमन्नभीष्टवरदाखिललोकबन्धो श्री श्रीनिवास जगदेकदयैकसिन्धो श्रीदेवतागृहभुजान्तर दिव्यमूर्ते श्रीवेङ्कटाचलपते तव सुप्रभातम् श्रीमन्नभीष्टवरदाखिललोकबन्धो श्री श्रीनिवास जगदेकदयैकसिन्धो श्रीदेवतागृहभुजान्तरदिव्यमूर्ते श्रीवेङ्कटाचलपते तव सुप्रभातम्.
Very nice. Shriman Abhishta Varadakhila Lokabandho Shri Srinivasa Jagadeka Dayeka Sindho Shri Devata Griha Bhujantara Divya Murte Shri Venkatachalapate Tava Suprabhat. Shriman Abhishta. Abhishta is your wishes, desires, and he is the one who fulfills the desires of everybody. Akhila Lokabandho. So he is the bandhu or the friend or the sakha of Akhila Loka. All the worlds, not only this world, not only this loka, there are several other lokas. These are dimensions. These are different dimensions which are existing maybe here or other places. And he is a friend of all, which means he is somebody who looks to the well-being of everyone and fulfills all desires. Okay. Shriman Abhishta Varadakhila Lokabandho Shri Srinivasa. Okay. So here the word Srinivasa is referring to Srinivasa, which means the one in whom Shri is having her Nivasa. Srinivasa or Balaji is one in whom Shri is having her Nivasa. So he's called Srinivasa. But then there is another Shri which is added in front. It's a mark of respect. We have Shri Shri Ravi Shankar and all, right? So, what has happened is now his name is forgotten, Ravi Shankar. Only Shri Shri remains. There are products in the market sold as Shri Shri. So Shri Srinivasa here is, you're referring to Srinivasa as the Narayana, but then it's like saying Shriman Narayana, referring to him as Shri Srinivasa. Jagat Eka Dayeka Sindho. So you alone are Jagat Eka Dayeka Sindho. You are the ocean of compassion. The one who is the ocean of compassion, one alone, you alone are the ocean of compassion. O Narayana. Shri Devata Griha Bhujantara Divya Murte. So you house Bhuja Antara, between your arms, Bhuja Antara, between your arms, what is there? Your chest, Vakshasthala. In your Vakshasthala, you house Devi, Shri Devata. Shri Devata Griha, her house Griha is Bhujantara Divya Murte. So which means her divine form, Devi's divine form is residing in your heart, O Srinivasa. So there's multiple ways in which Bhagavan is reminded that Lakshmi is there. She is right in your heart, in your Vakshasthala. And Venkatachalapate, wake up. So, see, there is one way of approaching Bhagavan, that you just go to Bhagavan directly. But usually in the Vaishnava tradition, the way to approach God or Bhagavan is through Lakshmi. It is through the creation or through Lakshmi, through the Prakriti, you approach the Para. From Prakriti, you go to Para. From the creation, you go to from the manifest, you go to the unmanifest. So the process in the Vaishnava tradition is generally you always go along with Lakshmi to Narayana. You don't go directly to Narayana. Because the way it is presented is, she knows the way to take you to Narayana. It would not be possible for a Jivatma directly to go to Narayana. So it can be looked at in two ways. One is Devi, you're going through Devi, or Devi in many forms is also considered as an Acharya. So you go through the Acharya, through the Guru. So Ambal or Lakshmi plays the role of the wife of Narayana, but she also consort of Narayana. But at the same time, she also plays the role of an Acharya. to take you to Narayana. And in this tradition, Acharya Parampara is extremely important, which is why in the start also we started with Sri Shailesha Daya Patram Vibhaktyadi Gunarnamam. And then we did Prativadi Bhayankaram Anna's Taniyan. Acharyans are extremely important to be able to guide us to Narayana, which is that's the tradition. But the idea is also, in whichever ways you see the Acharya, you can see Acharya in Devi herself, in Lakshmi herself, and you can approach Narayana. One of the reasons why it is like that is possibly the unmanifest may be extremely difficult for us, for normal human beings to approach. So you go through creation, which means you do not negate the creation that is there. This is in contrast with other philosophies which negates creation. So in this philosophy, you don't negate creation. You acknowledge creation, use creation, and you see Bhagavan in this. So through creation, you see Bhagavan. When you see Bhagavan in creation, it means you are going through Lakshmi to Bhagavan, because you're perceiving Bhagavan in creation. Right? So this para or the unmanifest is present in creation as what? As Lakshmi, as Devi, as Ambar.
The Sri Nivasa Chonale and the Sri is living the Nivasa.
Correct. So Srinivasa is where she is having her abode. So if we look at Srinivasa as the unmanifest, as the Parabrahman, then Srinivasa or the Sri where that same Srinivasa is also residing here as Sri. So which means it's both. So where Sri is having her Nivasa is Srinivasa, and that is Srinivasa. The unmanifest is also Srinivasa. The manifest is also Srinivasa. But the presentation here is through Shri. So the importance here is given Sriman Abhishta. So it's starting with Sriman Abhishta, Shri Srinivasa, Shri Devatagraha, Shri Venkatachalapate. So Shri is at the start of each of the line of this verse, if you notice. See, the importance is given to approach it through that. And now, the other interesting thing here is, I think from here, there is an introduction of Venkatachalapate. I know we have run over by a minute. I'll wrap up in a minute. Venkatachalapate. See, until now it was Seshadri Shekhara Vibho. So we said you are now raising your energies, you're trying to bring your energies and trying to bring it into a state of harmony within. And which is what we said, the representation of Sesha. Seshadri Shekhara Vibho Tava Suprabhatam. And now he is now called upon as Venkatachalapate. Venkata, we said the word was Venkata, the one who removes sins. Right? Venkatati iti Venkata. So Venkata Chalapate. Achalapate. Venkata is the one who removes sins. Achala is the mountain. Pate is the Lord. So the Lord of the mountain who removes all your sins, all our sins, is Venkata Chalapate. Oh Venkata Chalapate. Now you wake up so that in your presence my sins dissolve. There is a story in the Puranas which talk about how sins of some people have been dissolved as they start even climbing Tirumala. Just to show the power or the sthala significance of that place, there are some Purana stories. But that aside, here what we're saying is now we have tried to wake up all kinds of harmony, all kinds of auspiciousness, all kinds of blessedness we are inviting in the process of waking up. And now we are doing that with Shriman Abhishta Varada Akhila Loka Bandho, Shri Srinivasa Jagadeka Deheka Sindho, Shri Devata Grahantara Graha Bhujantara Divya Murte, Shri Venkatachalapate Tava Suprabhatam. So all this auspiciousness, where is the room for any sin? Where is the room for any misdoing? Where is the room for any negativity? So Venkata, another way of looking at it is it's also sin. One way of looking at it, but the other way is, may no negativities touch me. May there be no negativities reside in my being, within me. So Venkata, cut the negativities. Venkata. ரொம்ப யோசிச்சுதான் பேர் வச்சிருக்கா. So
இல்ல, இந்த நியூமராலஜிக்கு வந்து அந்த வென் பேர் பார்த்துருங்க, VNCUTA வெங்கட்டா கட் பண்ணிட்டு அதே கட் பண்ணிட்டு.
Venkata. So you cut out all negativities. So all that you have done in the last 12 shlokas, you're waking up to this auspiciousness, and this when this auspiciousness is filled up within, we rise up to this. There is no room for negativities. There is no room for raga, dvesha, kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya. None of these kleshas have no room. You wake up to a beautiful morning, and in that process, your whatever negativities that may have occurred through the night, they dissolve. Pancha mahapapat pramuchyate. It's a Veda Vakyam. Pancha mahapapat pramuchyate. May all the pancha mahapapat dissolve. So that is Venkatachalapate Tava Suprabhatam. So we'll pause here today. Shriyakantaya Kalyana Nideye Nidayarthinam Shri Venkata Nivasaya Srinivasaya Mangalam Kayena Vacha Manasendriyerva Buddhyatmana Va Prakrite Subhavat Karomi Yatyat Sakalam Parasme Narayana Samarpayami Sadashivaya Samarpayami Jagadambikaya Samarpayami Sadguru Natha Samarpayami Hari Om Tat Satguru Namaha.